Welcome back to LDB Games. I'm Lord Darth Balls, and this is going to be a Raid Shadow Legends video. Before we get into it, if you're here, you like Raid, you like watching videos, you can support my channel for free. Go ahead and click that subscribe button down below to see more content from me as it comes out. Let's get to the video. In this video, I'm going to go through the team that I use to beat IRAGOTH, the Eternal Dragon, hard floor 120 in the Doom Tower. You can see the reward for this is a nice and juicy Sacred Shard. So getting to and beating the top of hard Doom Tower is pretty important for me in terms of resources. There are 2 Sacred Shards at the top of the hard Doom Tower, one being the final floor. And this is me completing it on this rotation. You can see here I've got Drexthar in here for... I've got Drexthar and Rotos in here for damage, doing 3.7 and 3.9 million. And then I've got Duchess, Lydia, and Tuhanarak in here as support champions for this team. So let's get into the actual team itself. You can see this is the setup. I do have Drexthar in here as the lead for the accuracy, though I don't know that it's completely necessary now with how they're built. This team works, and so I don't really see a need to fiddle with it. And it doesn't have a preset. The only reason I would fiddle is to improve the time. And frankly, this isn't the boss that I farm on this rotation. I'll do another video on that in the future. So let's get into the actual champions themselves. And one of these champions, Drexthar, is a free-to-play champion. And I did a guide on him when I first tried starting my YouTube channel a couple of years ago. I'll pin to that up top. And I took a look at it. He's in the exact same gear. The difference is he's now empowered. I have completed his masteries, and I have glyphed him quite a bit since. So it's the same gear. He's just got more stats and more capability along with it. Now, I bring in Drexthar because IRAGOTH has 3 little side minions, 3 little minions. And Drexthar is an incredible HP burn champion, and you can get him for free. Just buying up the fragments in the bazaar in the tag team arena area. And he comes in for his HP burn, right? He's got a triple hit on the A1, 30% chance of placing HP burn for 2 turns. He's got a little heal if the target's under it. Cool, not completely necessary. His A2 is an AoE. This doesn't really come into play in this attack because he only places the decreased attack if the provoke is placed. And so he'll place the provoke on the side adds, but he'll never get the decreased attack on the boss, right? But then the big thing here is his passive. I'm having trouble talking. And his passive, he's got a 55% chance books to 75 of placing an HP burn when he's attacked. And his resistance goes up by 10 for every enemy under an HP burn. So there are 4 enemies in this final battle. He can get an extra 40 resistance from this. Now, HP burns are really useful for damage towards the end game because when one of the boss's minions takes damage from an HP burn, the boss takes damage too, right? It affects everyone on the enemy team when an enemy takes damage from HP burn. So this just helps compound damage on the boss as you're working through the fight. So for his stats, I've got him up at 500 accuracy, more than enough to do the job. I've got 300 resistance, a good amount to resist debuffs and prevent him from getting controlled in any shape or form. Substantial amount of defense, and he's running, kind of moderately fast. You'll notice I have him at 100% crit rate for damage, but his crit damage really wasn't a priority. So if I were to try to rebuild him, I would probably try to move him into, what do I have, crit rate here? Yeah, I would probably try to move him into crit damage gloves. This is actually a terrible set of gloves for him. He's a defense champion. He doesn't need attack. I probably should rework him, but like I said, hey, it works, right? And if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. And this boss is, for me, ooh, that's a good one for him, right? Triple roll defense percentage with an accuracy roll in there. That's a nice little 5-star piece right there. It works. I only really pull him out for a couple things in the game. At this point, he's not really a main champion for me, and he works where he is, so I kind of leave him the way he is. Alongside of him, I've got Rotos in here. I just went over Rotos in a previous video. I got him built in Relentless, and he just does a truckload of damage, and he can string attacks together. He has the extra turn chance on his A1, and if he kills somebody with this A3, he gets an extra turn. Now, I bring in Rotos here because he's strong enough to take the ads down in one hit with the right conditions. And that's kind of big, right? Because you can take down, one of them resets your champion's cooldowns, which is really nice. So if he uses his A3 on the priest, takes the priest down, he gets his A3 back and can use it on one of the other minions. So it just helps get through those enemies faster because the boss, I'll go through the boss mechanics in a minute, but the boss mechanics are kind of unique. And you want to be able to get through those minions as fast as possible. And then the supporting roles, right? We've obviously got Duchess in there for her all-star A2 with a perfect veil, increased attack, and block debuffs. Her passive to just help us take less damage. I showed her in a recent video too. High resistance, high effective HP, and fast. I love Tuhanarak. She's such a cool champion. Really got the Egyptian theme going. Not sure why she's a barbarian. I thought they were gonna do an Egyptian faction, but her coming out as a barbarian kind of changes that. It'd be kind of cool if you had some like pharaohs and priests and priestesses, and I don't know. But she's got these really cool little, I think they're like krises, little daggers with electricity on them. She's freaking sick, and she comes in. She has an awesome cleanse. This is like the next step up from Doom Priest, right? Doom Priest will cleanse a random debuff every turn. She does as well. She'll do 2 if your allies have continuous heals on them, which is really nice. She brings speed and increased defense, damage mitigation, and keep your team running quick. She's got the decreased attack and the block buffs. Block buffs doesn't really come into play here, but the decreased attack does. The IRAGOTH hits pretty hard. And then her A1's really nice, got a decreased speed and throws a continuous heal buff on herself and another champion, which empowers the cleanse, which is really nice. I've got her running an intimidating presence, not for her aura, because I use Drexthar's, which is actually the same. That's kind of cool. But it's whoever the lead is in your team. Intimidating presence will affect. So I may at some point in the future try running it with Duchess in the lead just to see if it improves the time. Again, not really a high priority to me. I have her high accuracy, high resistance, fast with a decent effective HP, right? I want her cleanse coming back quicker and more often. I want her to be able to land that decreased speed and the decreased attack, and I don't really want her to get controlled. The benefit is that she could cleanse herself if she needs. But you'll notice this is just speed, 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 accuracy and speed, accuracy, right? So my primary was going for speed and accuracy with resistance as sort of like a nice secondary, good to have kind of thing. And then Lydia, I just did a champion spotlight on her. I'll pin to that up top. You can check it out. High accuracy, high resistance, high effective HP, and fast, right? She comes in for both damage mitigation, increasing the speed of your team. But between her and Tuhanarak, increased speed is up pretty much the whole time on my team. You've got the strengthen for straight up damage mitigation, and then you've got weaken and decrease defense to do more damage. In order for Rotos to be able to one-shot the minions, they do need to have decreased defense and weaken on them to make it so that I could do enough damage. So that's kind of important as well. Unfortunately, this doesn't work against the boss. He doesn't revive the minions, he summons them. So it doesn't really do anything, and this doesn't really do anything either. There's no poison in this team. So it's really just her A2 that she comes in for. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about the boss. So this boss has a number of differences between normal bosses, right? So I talked about his minions. He summons 3 minions at a time, and he does it every, I think it's every 5 turns, or it's on a cooldown. There's 1 Eternal Priest and 2 Eternal Guards. Now, he actually consumes these guys, so he can consume the Eternal Priest and reset his skills, and consume an Eternal Guard and heal from them, which is another reason why you want to take these guys out, right? And killing the Eternal Priest actually resets your team's cooldown skills, because he has, here's the consume part, right? At the start of every turn, he'll sacrifice, his first move is to sacrifice the priest, reset his cooldowns, and get an extra turn. If there's no priest there, he sacrifices an Eternal Guard and he heals. There it is. It's a 4-turn cooldown, not a 5. At the start, and then goes on to 5. Oh, so I was remembering it right. And it's problematic, because if you can't keep these guys down, he'll continuously heal, reset his abilities, and lock you out. Because in his kit is a lot of blocking your skills, right? So his A1 is an AoE, blocks active skills. And his A3 is an AoE, and it puts all your skills on cooldown. So if you can't get rid of these minions, you'll never have your A1 abilities. You'll always be using your default skills. And this is interesting too. So his damage increases by the amount of turns remaining on your cooldowns. So the more skills you have on cooldowns with higher cooldown abilities, the more damage he'll do. So in theory, it might make sense to turn off some of the abilities that I don't use, just to prevent it from going on cooldown. But he'll put them on cooldown at some point anyway, so it doesn't really help. And then the other thing is he's actually the only boss that can be affected by a skill that will put his skills on cooldown. It doesn't really work for me, at least in these higher levels, but I'll pin to an old video I did that included IRAGOTH, who's kind of a niche champion, and he comes in to lock out IRAGOTH and keep him locked out throughout the entire fight, so I can just relentlessly take him down with damage and not even have to worry about the minions. So let's get into the run, shall we? I'm going to clip myself out and I'll speed it up because it is a 5-minute run, and we'll come back after that and we'll close out. So there it is, guys. This is how I completed the Hard Doom Tower, floor 120. Have you gotten this far? Have you been able to beat this boss? If you're having trouble with some of the waves, let me know. I am going to be doing my wave clear teams, my teams to clear the waves, in a video in the future. But if you've gotten this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate the view. Go ahead and give me a like down there and hit that subscribe button to see some more videos from me in the future. I'll catch you on the next video. Enjoy your raid.